Hello everybody, it's been a bloody long time, but welcome back to SonarCreep. Yes, we're in the SonarCreep garage. This is all new. It's been a long time since I've done a vid, mainly because we bought a house and I had to do loads of things to the house and the garden. But we did manage to build ourselves a garage, so that's quite nice. And she's here, don't worry. And that's why the video is here for today. You would have seen in the title what it's about, so I wasn't really going to film anything. I thought, what's the point? There's about 18 million turbo meth kit installs, but I thought, I'll give it a go. So I'm just going to do a brief. I'm not going to do nut and bolt of what you need to do. I'm just going to go, you need to take that off, and then I'll pause the vid, take it off, and then you need to take that off, and I'll pause the vid. I'll just do it that way. And then that's it. So the turbo we're sticking on is this one. So we're going to be sticking on the CST5. And then we're going to be sticking on the meth kit, which is this one. When I can get it sorted. This is that one. So I'll be running a single nozzle on a cork spoke spacer. There you go. So that's where we're at. So that being said, let's not for the chat and get busy with what you need to take off first. Okay, so what have we got to do to get to the turbo? Well, it's all usual shit. So air intakes needs to come off. So filter, guard, pipe, battery needs to come out, battery tray needs to come out, disconnect ECU, take off the oh my god, from our intercooler piping, and then we'll have plenty more access, and then we can just start getting things off as we go along. I shall mention anything difficult that you need to detach, and we'll be taking off this strut bar as well because that will restrict us, and then yeah, we're good to go. So let's get on with that. Okay guys, so the battery box is out, ECU is off, intake pipe to the turbo is off, the top part of the top mount intercooler is off. So basically now what we're after doing is disconnecting the water pipe there, which is to the turbo from the EGR delete. I'll put a bit of fluid down, and then we've got to start making our way into the manifold and getting those nuts and bolts off, as well as down here that you can't see. Bear with me. So we need to get all of those nuts off. There's a couple missing, but this is hence another reason why I want to do this job. Can't really see it, but because the light's in the way, but there's bolts missing all over the place. So it's been leaking a bit. But we don't want to do anything other than drop the down pipe, which is what we're going to do. It's a CPE one as far as I know. There you go. So that's it. So let's get all that undone. And I'll check back in a second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, due to this old turbo that I had being so bloody massive, and I'm not exaggerating, I'll show you in a second, we had to take the manifold off, undo the manifold, undo the turbo. I'll start again. We had to undo the down pipe first, pull it aside, then undo the 4 nuts on the top of the turbo, so the turbo would drop out the way. Then undo all of the manifold nuts to pull the manifold off and out the way so we can get the turbo out. Now it's a pain in the dick, and I'm glad it's gone. And this is the difference in sizes. Taking the piss. So this is what technology does for you. So both turbos rated about the same, 500 plus horsepower, and yeah. The new one is on the left, obviously, and bloody Godzilla on the right there. Jesus Christ. Such a faulty turbo though. I've had overboost on this thing since day one, and we've never been able to cure it. It's been ported and everything, doesn't make any difference. So onto the new one, which is a CST5. So no, CTS5, should I say? Cork Sport Turbo 5, that's what it is. So yeah, that's I'm going to clean up the back of the engine because it's baked in oil that this thing was leaking because it's a pain in the dick. We're going to give this manifold a bit of a new life and a wrap up. And then we should be good to go. I've got all the seals and gaskets ready to go for this to go on. Once the turbo is in, then we'll start work on the meth, because I might as well put the meth in while all the battery box is out, because I've got to get to the firewall. So it's right there. We've got a battery line coming out for the sub, because you've got to have your base. And yeah, we'll come out with the box, plumb everything in there that we need to do. We need to go into here to the throttle body, so we'll get that done while everything's easily accessible. And yeah, we're good to go. So next I'll show you underneath, show you the oily mess, and then I'll show you the afters. Okay guys, come for a little run under the fucking car. Oh my god, my days. Oh fucking, don't you just love mechanicing at home? It's a thing. Fucking hell. Anyway, so as you can see, caked in oil, because the oil return on the turbo was leaking from the bottom. So we're going to clean all of this back up so it's all nice and shiny and free of oil. Get some new gaskets on that when we put it back. And yeah, so let's crack on, eh? Okay, so the turbo is now in. There's plenty more room with this one, so I was able to just slip her in with the manifold in place, which is how it should be. We're in amongst wiring the meth as we speak. I've obviously wrinkle painted quite a lot of bits and put some new hardware on to keep the heat down. We've put the stock heat shields back on, so that's where we're up to now. Just in doing the meth, I've gone through the bulkhead there that you can't see. Let's have a look there, and I'll take it inside the car. So you obviously have to take the glove box out, which is basically one screw there, and then pull the trim out, and then just pull it out, and the whole thing comes out like this. And then in the back there you can see all the wires and the cable meth pipe. I'll neaten that up obviously, and then we're routing it down through the carpet, down the side of the bulkhead here, down there, all the way through the back. Took that trim off, unclipped this trim all the way there. We're coming out at the bottom here, all the way along there, and to the pump. Boom. So let's put everything back together, and then we'll get back to neatening the wires up at the front, because obviously the meth pipe needs to go to the throttle body. So make sure I've got plenty left. So I've got nice enough room, and then we'll hook these up, which are part of the meth kit. And we'll find a location for the box before it has to go to the internals. Oh, that reminds me. We've got to put this through that hole as well. So I'll plug another hole in there to get the controller for the meth into the car. Banksy idea, let's do that. Okay, so I've painted the tops of the coil packs red just to give the engine bay a bit of colour, because it's all a bit wrinkle black at the moment. But there'll be a bit of colour with the mushroom green, which is over there. That'll go in. There'll be a bit of colour there, and the rest of it's just all black. But yeah, we're all ready. Wiring's ready to go in. We've plumbed, like I said, we've plumbed all the meth in. So the meth is now plumbed in, ready to go. In the front and the back. I'll just show you the back. Plumbed it in boot-wise. So there she is in the back already, wired up. We have the map off Justin for the base, so we can at least get it running. Make sure we've got no leaks and stuff, all the usual shenanigans of turbo changing. And at some point we'll preload the meth system just to make sure it's actually functioning, and then obviously turn it back off, because we won't need it while we're doing the turbo tuning. So the turbo's all down there, all nicely kneaded and tightened up everywhere. The spacer's actually helped me here. So the spacer that's holding the meth, the cork's brought one there, because it's brought the throttle body that way, it actually gave me more room on that angle, which was quite nice. So that's been a bit more beneficial. And also the front mount intercooler pipe, because it was a bit hanging onto the throttle body in its normal position, so when it's come out I've actually got more wiggle room. Alright guys, so another thing we'll be fitting today is the scoop. So we're going to mark out what we've done. We've made a little template. The best thing to do with this is flip it over, get yourself a piece of cardboard and template out the hole, because it's a bit of an odd shape. Template so the cardboard fits flush, and then you're good to go. Take that, obviously make sure the orientation's right, like so. Trying to do this with two hands is not helping. Place on how you want it, mark it out, and then we're going to Dremel. I'm going to Dremel a hole in it, and once we start, that's it, we're committed. Okay guys, so we're fully committed at this point. Now, the reason why it's in the place that it's at is I wanted to get this hole. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. There's a hole there. Here, focus. There you go. And that's going straight to my intake. So it's basically a cold air feed from here. And it comes out where my intake is. There it is, that's the hole. So I'll bring in some fresh air into this area, which is where the filter is, and the heat shield I've made. So okay everybody, it's all back together. Battery box cover's just laying on there for the minute. I've not put the strut bar on yet because we're going for the first start up. So it's all loaded up on the cob, so let's get in. Oh, I forgot the keys. Hang on a minute. Okay, we got keys, cob. Let's hook it up and go for our first start, and then we'll check for leaks. So let me hook this up. Okay, so we've got that hooked up now. Let's turn ignition on. This needs to be working so far. Turn that off. And the cob's on. Let's load the tune, of which we've got our base map off Justin. There it is, 0.1. There you go. So we'll get that loaded up. Please wait while access generates a vehicle data. Yep, we know all this rubbish. Next. Turn radio off. Don't need that on right now. And there we go. Let's load it up. I'll pause for a second. Okay. Nearly there. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Please wait for the access port to identify the ECU. Access port clears all active troubles, which it's done. And we're going to turn it off, and then we'll turn it back on, and that will be the first startup. So let's get back to the make sure everything's good. Okay guys, this is the first startup. Hopefully we've done everything right. Sounds good so far. Let's go and check for leaks. There we go. It's going to burn some stuff off the turbo, that's for sure. going to be some rampant smoke going on. But it's not a leak, it's just stuff on the hot side of the compressor. So we'll sort that out. So far so good. I'll have a little look underneath, make sure we're not spilling any fluids. Get a light on. Can't see nothing dripping. So far so good. We'll leave it running for a bit and then I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so we had a little bit of a leak. We had I had to re-tap one of the bolts from the oil return feed. Goes one that returns into the block itself. It had stripped, so I had to drill it out, re-tap it with a bigger bolt in, and then fitted 2 new gaskets, which I should have done from the beginning, but I didn't. And yeah, it's all done now. So I'm just getting it up to temp. I'm going to take it for a little spin, and hopefully everything's okay. There was a bit of a knock, but I've already taken it out once, and there was a knock on when you start to set off in first gear, and I think it's actually the wastegate on the turbo hitting firewall. There's a little firewall plate, because it's quite big. The actual wastegate actuator itself is quite bulky. I think there's not much gap for it, and I think as soon as I set off, obviously the engine's pulling back as you go under load, so it's hitting the thing a bit. But I'll keep an eye on it. I've had a good check underneath, and there doesn't seem to be anything rubbing or catching anything, so fingers crossed that's all it is. But we'll go for a spin now. I've got to put some petrol in and we'll see how we got on. So we have a new part for the car, and it's the grille. So let's have a look. So of course we've gone for the Bayson grille. Stand her up. If she'll stand up. There you go. Trying to put an evil smile on the princess. We've also got the lower trim as well, so we don't have the massive gap between the bottom of the bumper and the under tray. All the fixings are here, and obviously your mesh to go behind. We just need to spray it up now. So it's not so bad in its own plastic, but I've bought some classic Alfred's black sapphire. Ding ding ding. Oh, there's this as well. I bought this little kit off eBay. It's an adjustable bar that you can use for the headlight leveling system bar, because mine disintegrated into 3 bits. So I need to sort that out. So yeah, so we're going to spray this up and then get the bumpers off and do all sorts of other work while we're there. So come along for the journey. Okay guys, so this is what you've got to do. So I've primed it up, but before you prime it, you've got to scuff it up good. Make sure there's no lumps and bumps in it, because it comes unprepared. So sandpapers, sanding blocks, whatever you've got to rough that surface up, get busy with it. Make sure it's all even. Try and make sure there's no dip spots in it, and then apply 2-3 coats of primer. Obviously clean the thing first with either acetone or panel wipe. Do a little test area first, make sure it doesn't react to the plastic, and then apply your primer, let it dry, and then we'll get on to the actual paint. Okay, this job is turning to shit, whatever to do. So I've just plastic dip in it, and we've got some reactions going on. Focus camera. So there's some reactions on certain parts here, you can see, which is doing me head in. So it won't focus, There we go, we've got some reaction with the paint underneath, which was completely dry, and normally plastic dip or folder doesn't normally react to paint at all, so not quite sure what that is. So I've used a heat gun So I'm spraying it and heat gunning it at the same time, just to build a flaky layer up, which hides the reaction a bit better. So hopefully you won't notice it that much, and I'll put up with it for the year while it's on. But other than that, it's done and dry, so let's get the car in and get the bumper off. Okay, so the car's in. So what are we going to do? So we're going to get rid of this plastic dip because we need redoing it. We're going to buff the lights up so they're nice and shiny again and less foggy. Take the bumper off. We're going to redo the badge because it's starting to flake a little down the bottom here. Not happy about that, so we'll redo that one. Obviously take the grille off. So all bolts need to come off, so that one, pull all of these, all of them off. I've already installed the quick releases, so push them in. There's a 10mm there somewhere. Okay, not on this side. Screw there, screw there. There's some underneath, I'll show you in a second. Take all them off and then pull the bumper off. Okay, so mine's missing this connection piece here, which would have been attached to the original bumper, but because of this and other things, the intercooler, we had to get rid of it. So looks like I won't be fitting that lower trim after all. Never mind. Anyway, so we got to take that, can stay on the bumper, that's fine. That far one over there needs to come out, that one, because that's attached to this. There might be a bolt under there that's attaching that to the bumper itself. Same on that side, so we'll get rid of that one and the far one and see if it's connected. If it's connected, there'll be some bolts there, but there's normally some here, as you can see. Would have been if you're still stock. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably about 10 in all. Anyway, get these off, get the bumper off. Okay, so as you can see, the bumper is off. So we've disconnected the lights from the bumper, which will be the fog lights. Now we just got to pop this one off and drain this, and then the bumper's free. So let's do that. Okay, so bumper's off. Clips are off. There was one clip holding it on, and then it just sort of folds in there. But we're just draining this now. Leave that to do what it needs to do. So we're going to be taking the lights off because I want to polish them. I don't want to do it on the body, so I might as well just take them off. Other than that, we'll give this a clean up. We'll give that a bit of a respray and that a spray. And then once they're done and that's done, we'll get this sorted, which is what the video is about. And yeah, let's crack on. And the content just keeps on coming. So we've taken off the plastic dip on this lens. I've kept the eye lip on because I think it's glued on with I don't know, I think Superman put it on because it ain't coming off, and I don't mind it, so it can stay on. But as you can see, the lens is all in need of a good polish, so that's where we're going to be, and that's what we're going to do. Okay guys, when you're sorting out taking it off, you need to make sure that the headlight sprayers get taken out, otherwise you won't be able to get the grill out. So in order to do it, you need a small screwdriver, small tipped flathead, like so, like that, and then you pull it out with your hands, and then as you can see, there's a clip there. Gently pull it up and have a pull on it, and there's one directly underneath as well. Pull that and slightly pull on it and wiggle it out. Be very gentle because they're very small and brittle. So once they're detached, you're left with this. Oh, you do have to take this whole garbage off, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts holding that on. You basically just undo every screw that's on there. And there's two little ones here you need to be careful of. These are very small little ones. They're quite delicate, so just be careful with it. There's two of those. There's one either side. So one there and one there. So now what we've got to do now is basically push and pull. Do that all the way around, then it should pop off. So let's crack on. Okay guys, so there we are. It's all out, waiting to receive. Oh. Now we've got to build this up, get all the hardware on, which is mesh, bits and bobs. So I'll go and clean my hands and we'll get busy with that. Okay, time to cut the mesh. So offer it up, as you do. I want to get as close to this line as we can, so we've got the access to finish off each side. So that's where we're at. They've given you enough, you just have to be careful with it. Don't be a loose goose with it, otherwise you'll end up with no side pods. So let's cut out and get busy. Okay, so we've got the first bit of the grill on. I'm going to take out my rubber mallet and we're going to bend this down all the way around so it's nice and neat. Okay, so that's all that hammered round, because this stuff is super sharp, and if you just messing around near it, it'll take skin off. Easy days, and you'll be Sudocrem until the cows come home. So just finish that, finish off the roundness, and then start on the other bits. Okay, the mesh is all done, all in and ready. So I'll show you what we've done. I'm going to scratch the new paintwork. So we've hammered it all down, so it's all nice and neat and tidy. So bang tidy. So we'll fit that to this, and then we'll go from there. Okay, ladies and gentle beans, we're all done. She is all ready. Grill is in. Everything's back on, ready to go. I'm leaving the eyelids at the moment. I'll just live with the carbon lips, the carbon eyelids for now. See how it goes. There's a lot of carbon on the front now, so scoop, intake, lids, wing mirrors. There's a carbon lookalike fin thing there. So there's a lot of carbon on it, but what do you think? I think she looks for him in. Let's have a look. Look at that. Yes. She's ready for action. Now we just got to finish the tune. Okay, so everything's more or less fitted and everything's running smooth. We're on tune number revision 5 from Justin so far. Just managed to pick up a little wiring tuck, so we're going to just fit that to this and add that in, and then yeah, carry on. But you know, the video's taking a bit of time to do because we've got to wait for the revisions and stuff like that, and we've got to do the right amount of mileage between revisions, not all at once, and blah blah blah. But you know, better to be safe than sorry. Slowly, catchy monkey. That's how it's gone. So we'll slash this load of rubbish on and see how much neater the engine bay looks. So that's a before and this will be an after. Okay, so this is where we've got to get to. So you're going to have to take the batch box off and the battery and everything. ECU, get that all unplugged, get your intakes off so you've got access to all of this area, and you're probably going to find a few things on it like this, which is holding everything in place to the fuel pump, which looks proper ugly. So we've taken all the brackets off, so now she looks a bit better, even though the hardware looks tired to say the least. So yeah, all the nuts and bolts look a bit dodgy, but we're not in here to tidy that up at the moment. So we're gonna lay the wiring, so that's obviously going to be on the coil packs, and then this one goes to the big plug there, boop, and will go underneath the intake manifold to come out over here underneath where it will plug into the original harness, and these will plug boom, 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 and one there. And we're going to go down the side here, down there with it. So it'll go down and out the way. So that's hopefully how it's going to look. So 3, 2, 1.